Okay, everyone, I'll try to keep the second part short, but just to give you the idea, that the 1914 version of the Ottoman Empire is much smaller and really surrounds modern day, Turkey, as well as some of the areas of the Arabian Peninsula, the city of Baghdad, but also some of the religious cities like Mecca and Medina. We will look at a couple parts of the rise of the Ottomans, and again, I'll show you a video or two tomorrow to kind of emphasize some of these points and give you some more visuals. But we'll also be looking at some of the movement of the political rule, especially in the 1400s, and then we'll spend some time with Suleiman the Magnificent. There are a few sultans, kings in the Ottoman tradition, who are very significant, and one will be Mehmed II. So you can see Mehmed II pictured here. What makes Mehmed II really significant? He is somebody who becomes responsible for capturing Constantinople. This is a huge turning point event. It leads to the end of the Byzantine Empire, and it really brings the Ottoman Empire into the fray of the former Byzantine state. Recall that Byzantine is Orthodox Christian, so you have a lot of diversity within the Byzantine Empire, which had been very much on the decline at the time of its fall in 1453. But not only is it an incredible military capture, there's a great deal of military moves that Mehmed II tries to be successful. There had been many targeted attacks on Constantinople prior to 1453, and those were not successful. And Constantinople is an incredibly fortified city. There's a great deal of challenge to attacking Constantinople by sea. The Ottomans end up picking their boats up and walking them over some of the obstacles. They also have the advent of gunpowder, which enables some fracturing of the fortifications of the city. So there's a great deal of debate about what leads to the capture of Constantinople, but it is very significant. And there is a, kind of attempt, once Mehmed II is able to be in charge of this very destroyed city. There's an effort to rebuild Constantinople. This is going to be a very cosmopolitan city under the Ottomans. It will be changed, of course, to Istanbul over time, and Hagia Sophia, which was the cathedral that was built by Justinian as a Christian cathedral, will become a mosque at this time, and it will be a mosque for many, many years. A Sharia law is going to be put in place, so we're going to see an Islamic society led with an Islamic justice system, but we're also going to see some degree of religious tolerance and also some autonomy, where some parts of the society will be able to maintain their own laws. That's for the purpose of maintaining some degree of rule over parts of the society that are incredibly diverse. And tomorrow in class, we'll talk a little bit more about the design of a system that is notably religiously tolerant for its time. There will be exceptions. There will not be perfect religious tolerance. And, there will be a variety of different programs that maybe are requiring of people to give up some of their, original culture, but religious tolerance is going to be fairly significant under something known as the millet system. And I think another thing that we can look at in class, that we can look at in quite a few ways, is how the culture of the Ottomans are very heavily influenced by Turkic and Byzantine practices. And, this becomes very interesting and maybe debatable. There is going to be very much an homage to Islamic, societies from the past. So even though the Ottomans are not an Arab state, they're very well aware of the history of the Abbasids. So we see some significant connection to the past, but we also see a great deal of integration of Turkic culture, Turkic language, and Turkic practices with some Byzantine practices. And, the religion of Islam is going to be, the unifier in quite a bit of a way, but we also do see, again, that religious tolerance. So it becomes a very, very interesting thing. This is just some of the fortifications that exist in Constantinople that are notably very challenging. And I'll note some of this tomorrow, so I'm going to stop here, but just introduce, some of the vocabulary that we will be talking about. One is the notion of the Janissaries, which become kind of an elite military group that kind of get derived under the Ottoman Empire and will last for some time. But the nature of the Janissaries is kind of an interesting system to study. We are also going to see a slavery system develop under the Ottomans, one that involves largely Christian boys who become very elite slaves. And so that's something that we'll spend some time with in class tomorrow. And we are going to see, whereas the Ottomans, kind of initially are a very cavalry heavy group, heavy artillery becomes less of a focus for cavalry and more of a marching military. And we are going to see the Janissaries acquire some degree of political and economic power, and maybe to some degree that significantly shifts and changes by the 16 and 1700s. So I'm going to end this here, and tomorrow in class we'll look at some sources, spend a little bit more time on some of these bigger concepts, and I'll be posting some readings about the Ottomans. So I will see you in class tomorrow.